Ever wonder why some people swear off camping forever? Well, by the time you've heard these stories, these 6 disturbing camping encounters that will make you never go again, you might start understanding why. Because out there, past where the trail ends, the woods have their own rules and sometimes their own watchers. Take Luke, for example. Our first video tonight comes from Luke is an outdoor adventurer whose YouTube channel is practically a gold mine for anyone who loves camping gear. He doesn't just review it, he drags it out into wild forests and shows exactly how it holds up. The craziest part? His videos look insane. They're so crisp and beautifully edited that half the time you forget you're watching a guy in the dirt and think you're catching an art film instead. Plus, there's always this peaceful vibe to his trips. Except for this one. This trip, the forest clearly had different plans, and trust me, they weren't planning to let Luke just chill.
For this adventure, everyone, we are out here in a section of the green forest. There are roots, rocks, and fallen trees everywhere, and everything is super slick. That's because everything here is soaking wet. This is the 3rd week straight of solid rain. There's water literally dripping from everything. What I need to do first, folks, is figure out exactly where I'm going to stay tonight. I have a tarp set up for this trip. I'm thinking this tree to this tree, with the tarp going this way. The ground here is somewhat level, more so than anything else. It's not perfect, but it will certainly do. This area here is a perfect example of real-world off-trail camping. This is what it's like. Nothing's flat, nothing's even. There's roots and rocks all over the place. This is what you will have to contend with if you want to do what I do. Off-trail, out in the middle of nowhere, far away from other people. What you need to get accustomed to is being satisfied with imperfect conditions. You may not have the best campsite out there, but take a look around. While certain areas suffer, other areas shine. And that is certainly true with this area here.
So Luke set up his shelter for the night. Pretty routine for him. Cooked up a solid meal right there under the thick canopy. But once the sun dipped past the horizon, it was like someone had thrown a heavy black sheet over the world. His tiny campsite, with its modest glow, turned into this fragile little island of light surrounded by absolute suffocating darkness that seemed to stretch forever. That kind of darkness, it'll start to whisper to you even if there's nothing actually out there.
Good times. How do you all like to cook when you're out backpacking? Comment down below. By the way, there's no right or wrong answer.
Not wanting to just sit in the silence, he figured he'd spark up a small fire, maybe chase off the chill, keep his nerves occupied. Funny how that's exactly when things started getting twitchy. It was like the moment he lit those flames, the forest decided to lean in closer, as if curious or hungry.
I could have swore I heard something walking through the woods. Something big enough to break branches and whatnot. There are black bear up here, but that would be highly irregular for them to come this close to camp. I definitely heard something though.
And then the sounds began. Nothing obvious, nothing easy to pin down, just soft, insistent little noises creeping in from the black. The worst part? They seemed to pulse right on the edge of hearing, like they were carefully designed to keep him guessing. He tried to laugh it off, push it aside, telling himself it was just forest life doing forest things. But that's the trick about the dark. It doesn't care how rational you try to be. It just keeps pressing and pressing until your imagination does the rest.
It is update time, everyone. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning. It's been raining all night long since roughly 11 p.m. It's a good solid rain. Nothing heavy, nothing crazy, no thunderstorms. And now that I'm thinking about it, no wind either. It's quite calm.
Eventually, Luke forced himself to crawl into his shelter and try for some sleep. The night dragged by in cruel little stretches of half dreams and startled wake-ups, his ears straining for every crack or rustle. Morning finally clawed its way back into the world, and Luke didn't waste time packing up. But even with daylight warming the trees, one question kept gnawing at him. What the hell had been out there with him all night? In the video, you can actually hear the footsteps, heavy, deliberate, unsettlingly close. Could it have been a deer? A bear? Maybe. But when Luke swung his flashlight right at the noise, there was nothing. And let's be real, a creature that big doesn't just vanish. A ghost? Some thing that just knows how to stay hidden? That's exactly why these videos hit so hard, because out there, you never really get to know. So what do you think was stalking just beyond his light? Tell me in the comments. Because the next story with Jenna, she found out the terrifying way that not all predators in the forest walk on 4 legs, and not all of them disappear when the sun comes up. Jenna is that rare kind of person who feels more at home under a leafy canopy than under a roof. Her channel's a soothing blend of forest sounds and gentle bushcraft, the total opposite of those adrenaline-pumping ghost channels that seem to live off cheap scares. This time, she found herself a flawless patch of crownland, rich with bird song, sunbeams dripping through the trees. It looked like the start of the perfect getaway. If only the story ended there.
So I'm out here on Crownland, and I'm gonna do a little bit of a bushcraft camp out today. I have my backpack with my sleeping kit and my cooking kit. I have my tarp and some pegs, and I have the forest all to myself. I brought my buddy Herb with me to keep me company. You might remember Herb from our bike tour on the Icefields Parkway. He's gonna be keeping me company while I'm out here alone in the woods. The river's definitely not frozen yet, so I'm walking over these logs to get across because there's a couple dead trees over there that I'm looking at taking down.
She dove right into work, hacking down small trees, dragging thick logs across a river, piecing together her shelter bit by bit. Watching her, it was easy to believe nothing could ruin the peace. It was almost like a woodland fairy tale. Almost.
I'm basically just tying a clove hitch around the pegs before I nail them into the ground. And then popping some rocks on top of the peg just to seal it in. Cute. So this is it from the back. The weather's supposed to be beautiful tonight. We don't have any wind or rain or anything on the forecast, so this should work just fine. This is it from the inside. Let me get Herb all cozy in there.
Because before she'd even started building, something happened. While scouting out the area, a lone man in an SUV pulled up beside her. He didn't smile, didn't wave. He just sat there, watching. Then, without a word, he left. Creepy? Sure. But maybe he was just a lost hiker or someone scoping out a campsite. Jenna kept calm, didn't even record it until he came back. Again, just staring, then driving off. It was the third time that truly cracked the illusion. He pulled up, parked, stared at her for what felt like forever, then left again. That's when Jenna's gut flipped over itself. The chill had nothing to do with the forest air. It was all instinct screaming, "Get out now."
I'm not even taking the time to pack up nicely because I just want to get out of here. Okay, goodbye to the campsite that once almost was. I don't think I left anything. Barely got everything in my bag because I didn't fold everything properly. I'm just trying to get out of here. I have half my stuff in my food bag. It's gonna be okay. He's not here right now. This is where he pulled out to, and he literally took a look at me and turned around and pulled out. But I know it was the same car. It was like a white SUV with a bag over the back of his window, and he turned around and I saw that same bag. So yeah, I'm fucking out of here. Even if that guy didn't mean any harm and he was just trying to camp here, I don't like when somebody knows where I'm camping when I'm by myself. I want to be hidden and unseen, and I don't want some man to know that I'm alone in the woods. I'm coming back to my van. Okay. Back of the van. That was a mad dash. Luckily it's not dark out just yet, so I'm gonna head home. I don't like driving in the dark, but even in the van, I don't really want to sleep out here.
And she did exactly that. Packed everything with quick, efficient hands, heart racing at every snap of a twig. Some people might say she overreacted. Maybe he was harmless, just curious. But let me ask you, out there, no phone service, no one around for miles, a young woman all alone in the woods, if he'd decided to come back that night, would it still be an overreaction? She did the only smart thing, trusted her gut, trusted the animal inside that knows when you're prey. So, if it were you, would you have stayed, hoping for the best? Or packed up like Jenna and never looked back? Drop it in the comments. Because next up, Nathan thought the biggest threat on his bike trail was gravity, until some locals decided to play a deadly little game. Nathan is basically built for speed. The dude lives for ripping through forest trails on his bike, flying downhill so fast it'd turn most people's legs to jelly. Recently, he decided to take it a step further, started building his own trail from scratch. It was shaping up into this winding masterpiece, full of slick curves and sharp dips, the kind of place adrenaline junkies dream about. And then, it started happening. Almost every day, Nathan would find new surprises on his trail, enough to have a story left to tell. It all got weirder until the day he finally saw them. Standing there, plain as daylight, were a couple of women fussing with the trail, actually placing debris. Still with me? If you're a real one, drop brave in the comments, so I know you're tough enough to keep rolling through this madness. Oh, sure, Nathan's got a responsibility. He needs to ride smart, keep an eye out for hikers, all that common sense stuff. But these women were purposely and eat dirt face first. A hidden rope? That's a potential obituary headline. Nathan was lucky. He'd spent so many hours building and memorizing that trail, he could spot something off. But what about someone else? Say some kid finds Nathan's Instagram, gets hike at you. And speaking of woods with more secrets than sense, Ollie and his friend decided to build a shelter up in a tree in the middle of nowhere. Turns out, the view from up high doesn't make you any less of a snack to what's lurking below. Holy Camping is Ollie's channel from India, where he's basically made it his life's work to push the definition of roughing it. We're talking dense, wild forests that laugh at your bug spray and show up in your nightmares later. Honestly, it's why his videos are so addicting. Because most of us would never have the guts to do what he does. For this trip, Ollie decided ground shelters were too boring. He was gonna build one in a tree, drag his buddy along and sleep up there like it was some twisted luxury hotel suite.
हेलो दोस्तों, वेलकम बैक। आपका स्वागत है भाई मेरी फिर से एक और नई कैंपिंग वीडियो में। तो भाई फिलहाल तो मैं निकल चुका हूँ यार एक और नई वीडियो के लिए। और भाई आज की जो कैंपिंग होने वाली है वो एकदम पेड़ के ऊपर घर बनाने वाले। भाई आपने मतलब वैसा घर कभी देखा है नहीं देखा ये तो नहीं पता, पर एकदम ऐसा तगड़ा बनाने वाले हैं। दो कैंपिंग होने वाली है यार, वंश भी आने वाला है। बाकी अभी गर्मी हो रही है तो यार चप्पल वगैरह भी पहने हैं। बाकी बैग में मैं जूते भी रख के लेके आऊँ क्योंकि यार शाम के टाइम पे वो ठंडा होता है, इस वजह से। बाकी चलो भाई चलते हैं।
They didn't half step it either. Started hacking down trees, carrying thick branches, stacking and tying them high above the ground. By the time they finished, the sun was bleeding out across the sky. They lit a fire, started cooking dinner, probably thinking they'd absolutely nailed it. And for a little while, they kinda had.
पानी भी डालते रहेंगे। अभी तो शायद मेरे हिसाब से पानी की जरूरत नहीं है। का ढक्कन ऐसे करके रख देते हैं ये। तो चलो फिर भाइयों, आप सब्जी बनने के लिए इसमें रख दी है। अब इंतजार। बेटा आवाज जैसी आई ले।
बेटा ये तो बाघ की है भी शायद, बाघ की जैसी नहीं आई फिर।
बेटा
ये तो इधर ही ऊपर ही से आई भी कहीं आसपास से।
बेटा इधर आ जा बे।
बेटा इसको खोलता हूँ, रुक। ले पकड़ पकड़ पकड़।
बेटा क्या था ले?
बेटा तेरे को तो कुछ नहीं होगा, मैं हूँ वहाँ, मेरे लगेंगे।
बाय गॉड, इधर साइड से आई ना, इधर साइड से कहीं।
अब सेफ लग रहा है भाई गॉड। वो फ्राई पानी गिर गया यार, फ्राई बीन
गिर गया वो। बेटा क्या होगा ले? कर उधर ही से आई बे, मेरे को तो वहाँ कहीं से लगी यार।
यहाँ को तो नहीं है कुछ
दिख भी नहीं रहा यार एक तो इन पेड़ों के वजह से। भाई गॉड,
हल्ला करें क्या?
नहीं बे।
Then the sounds started creeping in. A snap here, a rustle there. Nothing huge. The kind of noises you'd blame on a monkey or a stray deer. They tried brushing it off, probably cracked a few nervous jokes, but deep down, you could almost see that little prehistoric switch in the back of their brains starting to flip. The one that whispers, "You're being watched."
और मुझे तो पता नहीं है, मैंने तो अभी तक बाघ आग देखा नहीं है इतना। दोस्तों और आ गई आवाज और पास से आई है अभी। आप भी सुन रहे होगे। नहीं कहीं
यार ऐसा क्यों भाई? बार बार घबराहट हो जा रही है भाई, और तो कुछ नहीं। बेटा वो देख, बाघ भी।
ये बेटा ये तो यहीं पे
बेटा।
है।
बेटा कैमरा भी वही है।
कैमरा भी वही है यार। छी,
देखो दूसरा फोन दे 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 दे।
इससे होगा देख। बेटा ये बेटा यही घूम रहा है बे उस समय।
बेटा क्या करे ले? बेटा इधर साइड भी आ क्या बे? ये देख बेटा, बेटा सांप दिख रहा है बे। बेटा कितनी पास आ रहा है बे, क्या करे बे?
डर ही नहीं रहा है बे, तो पास पास पा रहा है।
बेटा यहीं पे आ गया। बेटा वो देख बे, वो देख। बेटा वो देखो पेड़ के पीछे चला गया। देख रहा हूँ अल्लाह मत कर। दोस्तों भाग नीचे आ गया, उधर साइड पे को क्या कर रहे हैं समझ नहीं आ रहा। कैसे कर रहा है?
आग भी बुझा दिया बेटा हमने। अभी रुक जा थोड़ा, यहीं रहो। खाना भी नहीं खाया है बेटा ये।
अच्छी खाना ही नहीं खाया यार दोस्तों ये।
Moments later, they stopped joking completely. Down on the ground, moving through the brush with a slow, terrible grace, was a tiger. Not some storybook creature, not a YouTube prank. An actual, living, breathing, apex predator. Muscles rippling, eyes scanning, as if deciding what snack it wanted most. They held their breath, practically melted into that tree shelter, and waited. The instant it was out of sight, they exploded down that tree and ran for the car like two guys who suddenly remembered they really liked being alive. See, we joke about bears or cougars all the time, but a tiger? That's a different game. They're beautiful, yeah, in the same way a sleek knife is beautiful right before it cuts you open. Good thing that tree shelter bought them a precious minute or two. Who knows? Without it, maybe Ollie's channel would have ended with a search party. I know you told me tons of Indian videos are fake. You're not wrong. But trust me, this wasn't one of them. Think that was intense? Just wait. Paranormal Discovery headed into the remote wilds of Nova Scotia chasing Bigfoot and ended up running into something that made Bigfoot look like a bedtime story. On June 21st, 2025, the team behind Paranormal Discovery loaded up their gear and set their GPS for the Tanger Wildlands in Nova Scotia, a place soaked in old Bigfoot legends and stranger campfire whispers. Their plan was pretty simple on paper: go deeper into the unmapped mountain terrain than anyone else had. Because obviously nothing bad ever happens when you decide to wander off the edge of the known map, right?
Bigfoot mapping project, there was actually, I think, in the early 1900s, but then again, someone else said it was like pretty recent, the last 5 years. But the map had a Sasquatch encounter here. Someone actually encountered one, marked it down. So we went hunting for that in the winter time. But right now, we're coming back again so we can actually set up camp and look for one or it or whatever. Really sick. We got the tarp up, didn't film it because it was actually kind of coming down for a bit. Yeah, we wanted to just get it up so we can just have something we can be under at this point in time. So now that everything is good to go, I think the camping night starts. We're gonna get everything, the table, the cookers, I don't know about a bonfire, maybe. But for right now, we got the cookers. We're gonna make some food. Kiki, Alika, good girl. Okay, so this is the first time I've actually set up this tarp in this configuration. It looks pretty cool, not gonna lie. I've never done it before, but I kind of vibe it.
As they drove higher into the dense forest, something about the air shifted. The higher they went, the more the silence seemed to thicken, like it was pushing down on their shoulders. They weren't just surrounded by trees anymore. It felt like they'd stepped into a living thing, old and breathing slow. Eventually, they rolled up on a clearing they knew from past trips. Only this time, it was a mess, overgrown, slick with rain, like the land itself was trying to erase their footprints before they even made them.
Hello? I'm hearing footsteps in the bushes, man, like on both sides. This side, and then on this side. Trying to rationalize like as if it's like a bear or maybe a deer or something. What the f is that sound? Like, what was that sound? Bird or cryptid, something. Whatever is here found us. Are you a Bigfoot? Oh my God. I actually can't even breathe right now. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit, I'm having a panic attack. I'm having a damn panic attack. Okay.
Night snuck up on them fast. They set up camp, cooked dinner, swapped dumb jokes to keep the nerves away. Even their dog, Kiki, seemed chill, which, honestly, is always a good sign. Then their lead investigator decided he'd go do the horror movie thing, take a flashlight and camera, and wander off alone. Branches snapped low. Somewhere off to the side, a deep moaning rolled through the dark. The kind of sound that feels too big for the throat of any animal you've ever met. And then, something touched his back. That tiny spark of contact turned every muscle to ice. He bolted so fast it probably would have made Kiki jealous.
Good?
Yeah.
What happened?
Just some weird sounds, really.
Yeah, I also heard some weird sounds.
Hey, baby. Hey. Yeah, like unhuman type of sounds. It was
Like moaning?
like something in distress.
Oh, like I heard some really weird like moaning
Oh.
that I've legit like never heard before.
Yeah, that was weird. It was,
Yeah.
something's like dying or something in there.
I know, right?
Or there's like a Bigfoot literally so close to us. Anyways.
Say no.
Say no?
Say no to what? Fetch. It literally just said fetch. Okay, wait. I swear I just heard like something just got thrown. It just said hunt. Yeah. Are we being hunted by something?
When he got back to camp, rattled and wide-eyed, it was like the woods decided they weren't done yet. The Spirit Talker app suddenly blurted out words in this weird, choppy voice. Fetch, hunt, say no. Meanwhile, inhuman moans drifted around them. Footsteps crunched over branches where nothing stood. A cryptid? An interdimensional slip-up? Or maybe just some spiritual echo trapped in those dark trees, forever looping its own ghost story? Remember, Nova Scotia is more than 60% pure wilderness. That's a lot of dark corners for old things to hide. By dawn, the team was drained and jumpy, calling it quits with footage that wouldn't prove anything. But you can't exactly scrub the feeling of being hunted out of your bones with a hot shower. Think that was eerie? Thomas decided he'd take on the woods alone. No team, no backup, just him and his nerves. And by the end of it, he'd be lucky that's all he brought home. Thomas is one of those guys who feels more alive miles away from civilization. His channel's packed with outdoor adventures, deep forest camps, usually with his dog by his side. He's had a few strange run-ins before, sure. That's part of the deal when you practically live under pine trees. But this time he decided to kick it up a notch and try something that even he admitted was a little crazy. Spend the night out there, completely alone.
Welcome to a very special episode. Now, there are a couple of reasons why this is a very special episode. Reason number one is that it's my first time ever doing a solo woodland camp. In fact, it's not just my first time ever doing a solo woodland camp, it's technically my first time ever doing a truly solo wild camp, because the only one other one that I've done was the one at the beach. And that had Archie in it. Whereas today, I combined today and tonight there. Whereas today, I'm totally on my own. And when I say totally on my own, I mean it. Because this is not just a public bit of woodland near where I live. This is actually private land that I've got permission to camp on tonight.
He spent a while roaming, hunting for that perfect spot. You know, somewhere isolated, quiet, where the silence didn't just sit on you, it settled inside you. Eventually he found it, set down his pack, looked around, probably nodded like, yep, this is where the horror movie starts.
But I thought I'll give the Fox 2 a good shake as well. And I like to have new equipment to test out in each of my videos. So today we have some brand new Hikeman tent pegs. These are the ones, Sam was using these in our camping video we did last week. And they are just superb pegs. So I thought, yeah, I'll pick up some of them, start using them instead. Especially with how hard my ground is at home.
Once the camp was up, Thomas treated himself, grilled a steak right there under the darkening sky, juices hissing on the pan, probably thinking he was living the dream. Real talk, I'd sell my left shoe for a steak that good right now. By the time he'd finished, night had wrapped the forest up tight. He kicked off a live stream, chatting with viewers, trying to ignore just how black the shadows had gotten around him.
It's been a good hour or so of chatting to the live stream, but I think it's time to head into bed and hunker down.
When the stream ended, reality hit different. There's something about shutting off the camera that makes you suddenly feel alone. He started settling in for sleep, rolling out his gear, doing that half-listening thing every camper does. That's when the noises started.
Just what I wanted. Monk chat going crazy. I'm chilling out though. I'm glad that I caught that sort of moment of like doubt on camera. It's very hot. I'm gonna stick it out.
They didn't fade away or keep their distance. They grew louder, closer, creeping around the edge of his camp, like the night itself was curious what he tasted like. Twigs cracked, low rustles zipped through the brush. Every time he strained to hear, the silence would snap back, thick and smirking, like it knew it had him hooked. Eventually, Thomas hit his limit, packed up everything, probably not as carefully as usual, and got out of there with his heart trying to break through his ribs. Now, could it have just been a fox call or some other forest noise? Yeah, maybe. But put yourself in his boots for a second. Alone in the pitch-black woods, no phone service, your only company the echo of things you can't see. Your brain wouldn't exactly be pulling up rational explanations either. That's how stories grow claws. So tell me, was it just wildlife out there? Or did Thomas stumble into something the rest of us are better off not knowing about? Drop your theories in the comments. And hey, if you actually stuck around through all these stories, I've got news for you. You're part of this now. Next time you're camping, keep an extra ear out, because maybe something out there's been listening to these stories too, and it might just decide to visit you next.
Some forests inspire awe, while others leave you with questions that linger forever. If any of these encounters sent a chill down your spine, share your thoughts in the comments. And remember to like and subscribe for more horror content from Shadows of the Wild. Until next time, stay safe out there, because you never truly know what's waiting in the woods. That's all we have for today. Stay tuned for more.